Today we're going to do something a little different. We're not here to talk about rockets or electric cars. Not really. We're here to pop the hood and look at the engine that built all of it. This isn't about putting someone on a pedestal, it's about observation. It's about trying to reverse engineer a way of thinking that seems to achieve the impossible. And to do that, we have to start by tearing down all the myths you think you know about Elon Musk. First things first, let's shatter that image you have in your head. You know, the one of the child prodigy who just aced every single test, top of the class, no effort. Yeah, that wasn't him. The record's pretty clear on that.
And the idea that he started with a pile of family money? A silver spoon? Nope. No trust fund, no giant inheritance just waiting to catch him if he failed. Every single dollar he risked in those early days, he had to earn it the hard way.
And luck? Come on. We love to chalk things up to luck. But calling this journey lucky is a massive disservice to the years, decades of nonstop, grinding work he put in just to get to the starting line. In fact, his childhood was the exact opposite of a fairy tale. Think about it. A quiet, nerdy kid obsessed with books in the hyper-macho culture of South Africa. He was an outsider, and he was bullied for it, severely. We're not talking about just being picked last for a team. We're talking about being pushed to the absolute fringe of society from a young age. And his failures, man, they weren't little oopsies. These were spectacular. Front page, light-up-the-sky explosions. The kind of failures that would make 99.9% of people just pack it in and go home for good. He didn't just bet the farm, he bet his friends, he bet everything on the table. And he came within hours, literally hours, of losing it all. Not just once, multiple times. Total, complete financial ruin was staring him right in the face. So if it wasn't natural genius, or money, or luck, what the heck was it? Well, it all boils down to one single, incredibly powerful decision he made early on. He decided to focus on how to think, on building a mental operating system, instead of just memorizing a bunch of facts someone told him to. This, right here, is the master key to everything. All right, so how does a mind like that even get built? Where does it come from? To really get it, we have to rewind the tape all the way back to his childhood, to the very environment that forged him. Picture this, a young kid and his best friends aren't other kids, they're books. While everyone else was outside playing games, his sanctuary, his whole world, was the quiet aisles of a library or his own room, just lost in a book. And here is the absolute critical part to understand. This wasn't some peaceful, zen-like choice to be alone. He was alone because he was forced to be. He was an outcast, pushed to the side by the world around him. But something incredible happened in that forced isolation. You know, when you don't have anyone to talk to, you're forced to talk to yourself. He started taking ideas apart in his head, questioning everything, building brand new worlds from scratch. That hardship, it accidentally became his superpower. It was a crucible for deep, focused thought. So let's just be crystal clear about where he was starting from. He had absolutely zero safety nets. No wealthy family to bail him out, no powerful friends to open doors for him, no special privileges. The only real asset he had, the only thing he could count on, was that thinking machine he was building, piece by piece, inside his own skull.
And this right here became his personal mantra, forged in that lonely childhood. For him, understanding wasn't just for getting a good grade. It was armor. It was a survival tool. He truly believed that if he could just break any problem down to its absolute core, he could handle anything the world threw at him.
So you can imagine, this survivalist mindset completely changed how he looked at school and education. For him, it wasn't about getting a diploma to hang on the wall. It was about gathering the tools he needed to build the future. He basically created two different scoreboards in his head. On one side, you've got the stuff society tells you to care about, getting a fancy degree, having perfect grades, getting validation from teachers. To him, that was all just noise. On the other side, that was what really mattered, teaching yourself, actually deeply understanding how things work. And most importantly, using that knowledge to build something real. You want to know how much he cared about that first scoreboard, the degrees and the formal validation? 2. That's the number. He got into a PhD program at Stanford, one of the best in the world, and lasted exactly 2 days. And don't get it twisted, this is so important. He wasn't quitting on learning. He was quitting on waiting for permission to learn. He saw the internet exploding, the world changing at lightning speed, and he realized the curriculum couldn't keep up. He wasn't dropping out, he was leveling up, on his own terms. He looked at knowledge like a chef looks at ingredients.
He didn't just study one thing, he grabbed the fundamentals from physics to understand the universe's rules. He took economics to understand people. He took engineering to know how to build things. He even studied philosophy to ask the right questions. It wasn't about mastering one subject. It was about the powerful recipe you could create by combining them. So here's the huge takeaway for all of us. The question he was asking wasn't, what should my major be? The question was, what unique combination of skills can I put together that will make me dangerous, that will let me solve problems that no one else can even see yet?
Okay, so you've built this powerhouse combination of skills. How do you actually use it? Well, it all runs on one core mental model, his secret weapon. It's called first principles thinking.
Look, the simplest way to think about it is this. You boil everything down to the absolute most fundamental truths. You ignore what everyone else says. You ignore tradition. You ignore conventional wisdom. You basically reason up from the physics of a situation, not from what other people have done before.
And this isn't just some vague idea. It's a real, repeatable process. Step 1. You look at a problem, and you identify all the assumptions everyone just accepts without question. Step 2. You take a sledgehammer to those assumptions and break the problem down to the things you know are 100% true, like the laws of physics. And then step 3, and only then, you start to build a new solution from that clean, solid foundation. And the best example of this is rockets. For 50 years, conventional wisdom said rockets are crazy expensive and that's just the way it is. That was the truth. But Musk applied first principles. He asked, okay, forget the price tag. What is a rocket physically made of? Well, it's some aluminum alloys, titanium, copper, carbon fiber. So he went and priced out the raw materials for all that stuff on the market, and get this, they only added up to about 2% of the typical price of a rocket. That single discovery, that the other 98% was just historical baggage, changed everything. So when you have a mental tool that powerful, you don't use it to build a better mousetrap. You use it to take on the problems that everyone else has written off as impossible. But here's the catch. When you try to do the impossible, it fights back, and it fights dirty. I mean, just look at this timeline of pain. 2006, their very first rocket. Boom, explodes right after launch. Okay, deep breath, they rebuild. 2007, they try again. And boom, another one turns into a fireball. Okay, now the pressure is immense. 2008, third try, this time with a critical payload for NASA, another catastrophic failure. 3 tries, 3 fireballs, game over, right? Because those explosions weren't just spectacular failures. They were burning through cash. Look at this. After the first failure, the bank account takes a huge hit. After the second, it's getting dangerously low. By the time that third rocket blew up, they were on fumes. They had just enough money left for one last shot. The stress must have been insane. So you have to ask yourself, why keep going? Any sane person would have quit. And it all comes down to this core belief. He knew that pioneering something new is paved with pain. So he made a conscious decision to take all that stress, all that public humiliation, all that financial terror, and compress it into a few brutal years. Because he knew that pain was temporary, but the regret of giving up would last a lifetime. All right, so when we zoom out from all these stories, the childhood, the failures, the thinking methods, you start to see these clear, repeatable patterns. These aren't secrets. They're observable strategies, and we've distilled them down into 5 that you can really study. Number 1, and this is the big one, always think from the bedrock of truth, not from the shifting sands of trends. It means having the discipline to ignore what's cool or what your competitors are doing, and instead building your logic from the ground up on first principles. Number 2, you have to become a learning machine. Think about it. The world is changing at a certain speed. If your personal rate of learning isn't faster than that rate of change, you are, by definition, falling behind. Every single day. You have to outlearn the world around you. Number 3, stop trying to be the best at one thing. Start trying to be the only person with your unique stack of skills. Become a synthesizer. Weave together knowledge from different fields to create a perspective that no one else has. That's your true competitive advantage. Number 4, aim your life's work at the future. Don't just solve the problems that are right in front of your face. Tackle the big, hard challenges that will define what the world looks like in 10, 20, or 50 years. That's where the real impact is. And finally, number 5, your motivation has to come from inside. Obsess over making the thing you're working on better every single day. The praise, the criticism, all the noise from the outside world, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the progress.
So when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway? This isn't a story about some magical innate talent. It's not about being born a genius. Greatness is a process. It's about the quality of the decisions you make when the stakes are highest and everything is on the line.
We spent this time observing how he thinks, how he learns, how he builds. And we've seen it's not magic. It's just a chain of deliberate choices. So the final question, the only one that really matters now, isn't about Elon Musk. It's about you. Knowing all this, what is your next decision?